12 days ago, on February 14th, my best friend was diagnosed with inoperable brain cancer. What do I say to him and his wife that can be helpful?
Well, wait. I'm a pastor. I've done this 100 times. There's no answer for that. I want to know all about that person, and I don't want you, no, please don't get up. I mean, I really think that there are so many ways to approach that person. If they ask you for something, if you have faith in the cross and the resurrection, and they ask you, talk to me about how you would handle this, talk to me about your faith, fine. Otherwise, listen, I can remember, there's a man named Joe Bailey. He's long gone now. He was a Christian author, B-A-Y-L-Y. And over the years, he lost 3 sons who died, one in infancy, one through an accident when he was in his 20s. I forget where the other one. And he wrote a book after losing 3 children called The View from a Hearse. And it was basically meditations on what it's like to lose, your sons. And there's one story that, boy, if you really want to get practical, I've given you enough philosophical answers. Let me give you a practical one. On one page, he tells this story. He said when he was at the funeral of one of his sons, a man came to him and sat down. I wish I had the quote with me, but I'll try to remember it. And the man sat down and told him that God had a plan for this, and told him that God would give him strength, and told him all things work together for good to those that love God and are called according to his purpose, Romans 8:28. And Joe Bailey said he talked and talked and talked, and I couldn't wait for him to leave. And then he said after he left, another man came and sat down beside him. And he didn't say anything unless I said something. And he spoke when I spoke to him. He was quiet when I was quiet. He didn't rant. He didn't lecture. He didn't try to give me any answers. And then he prayed with me. He just prayed for me. And he says, I hated to see him go. So the first guy came in with all his Christian answers, and he couldn't wait to see him leave. And the second guy came in with nothing except his presence. And he hated to see him go. And yet, you know what? That's very Christ-like. Why? Because God didn't sit up in heaven and send us an essay on the meaning of suffering. Floating it down, and we go out and get it. He came himself without an answer, but with power. Because now I know God loves me. Now I know he's with me. In a sense, that second guy was being more Christ-like than the first guy. That second guy was being more, you might say, gospel-like than the first guy. So if you're really looking, what I would do is I would just be there for that person. I would speak when spoken to. I would do everything. I would, and by the way, when the death comes, don't drop that person for at least a year. Go by and see them all the time. Pray with them and for them. They'll almost always take that. And if they say to you, I want to tell me, how do you handle these things? What is your faith? What is your belief about that? Then if they ask you, then you can say something. Otherwise, be more like Jesus. Be there, but don't bring the answers.